All right, as I've said before, the Hosting Core Web Builder with the backend Magento admin panel allows you to be able to administrate and fully configure and manage your entire website web store. One of the things that you're going to find, again, as I pointed out before, ultimately configurable. There are a lot of options, a lot of different types of configurations. Some of the things you'll use, some of them you won't, some you may not use now, but you may end up using later. And this particular video is about the Manage Multiple Shipping Warehouses feature. Now, if you're going to be using multiple product sources, let's say you've got a product source in China that's going to ship some electronics gear. You've also got a product source in Canada, and you've got a product source in the United States. Early on, many people just start off with one product supplier, and that's fine. But if you're going to be using multiple product sources, my suggestion to you is that you use our multiple warehouse shipping module. Now, I'm going to show you how to do that now, how to configure it. Once you add a warehouse into your Magento backend, you're basically telling Magento, I have connected with a supplier, and I'm going to begin using that supplier to sell products on my website, especially if it's a drop shipper. Why is it important to use multiple warehouses? Well, you have to remember that when your client goes to your website and they pick a particular product, they're going to calculate, the system is going to calculate shipping based upon the location of where that product is. Obviously, a product shipping from China is going to cost a little bit more in shipping than a product shipping from Kentucky to a U.S. Buyer, of course. So we have to be able to tell Magento where the location of these products are and how they're going to be shipping. So this is the video that we're going to use to cover that. The product module that we're going to be using is the warehouse module. So I'm going to show you that now. As you can see here, I'm logged into the back end of my web store. It says Magento Admin Panel. That lets me know I'm in the back end. Again, the multiple configuration drop downs here. The one that we're going to be working with today is the System Applet. So if I go under System here, you'll notice that there are a number of features and functions. The one we want to pay attention to is one here that says Manage Shipping Warehouses. This is where we're going to basically tell Magento the location of different suppliers that we have. And then when we put in a product later, we put in a product and we can then go in and configure that product to ship from that warehouse. That way our potential buyer is going to be able to calculate the approximate shipping for them. So in this case, I'm going to click on Manage Shipping Warehouses. And it brings us up to this screen here, and obviously there are no shipping warehouses right now. It says no records found. Why? Because we haven't put any in. We're going to put in one right now. Now the shipping warehouse that I'm going to use is ChinaVasion, because we used that in the video that talked about adding products. So in this case, we're going to use ChinaVasion, and ChinaVasion happens to be located in Shenzhen, China, which is in the province of Guangzhou. And so to add a product warehouse or a supplier, we click on this button up here in the upper right hand corner that says Add Warehouse. I'm going to go ahead and do that. We wait for the System Applet to come up that will allow us to add the warehouse. All right, here it is. And it says Warehouse Information. And in here we're going to have to fill in the boxes that are actually starred out. The other ones can be useful information. I like to put in as much information as possible, but the only ones that we're required to put in is the title, meaning the title of the warehouse or the title of the supplier in this case. Why is that important? Well, because we don't want to just call it Warehouse 1, Warehouse 2, Warehouse 3, because when we go to put in a product, we're going to be asked in that product setup, where is this product located, so that Magento and our web store can calculate the appropriate shipping. It's easier for me to remember instead of having a chart where I have to look up, okay, Warehouse 1 is my supplier in China, Shenzhen. Warehouse 2 is my supplier located in Canada. I'd rather give it a name that makes sense to me. So the first thing I'm going to is type in the name of the actual supplier. So in this case, it's going to be ChinaVasion. And ChinaVasion only has one main warehouse. They ship everything out of Shenzhen, China. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave it ChinaVasion. Now, if I had a supplier that had multiple warehouses, multiple shipping locations, I could put ChinaVasion-1 Shenzhen, let's say. That way I can identify, okay, yes, this is a ChinaVasion product and it's coming from Shenzhen. But in our particular example here, ChinaVasion only has a single shipping location. Everything comes from Shenzhen, China. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it just as ChinaVasion. Next is country. So we pull down in an alphabetical order. Everything is listed here as far as countries that are available out there for us to select. So I'm going to go ahead and select China. So we've got China of Asia. China is the country. State is not required. If you see, you pull down here, there's nothing that can be selected. Next important thing is the zip or postal code. Now most shipping suppliers, DHL, EMS, Federal Express, all of these shipping suppliers all use postal code to be able to calculate the actual shipping. So here's where we're going to need to put the postal code for the location of China of Asian. Now I happen to know China of Asian is in Shenzhen, China. And again, with any supplier, you can contact the supplier and ask them what is the shipping location, where is the product going to be shipping from, and they'll be more than happy to tell you the exact address and most importantly the zip code or postal code, because again that's where the shipper is actually going to use to calculate the location of where it's going from to where it is going to, and that's how it calculates shipping. So in this case I've looked up Shenzhen. Here it is, Shenzhen, China. It shows me the area code for the phone calls that are going in there, but also zipper postal code. So the zipper postal code for Shenzhen, China is 518000. Now I looked this up on Google, but you could have easily contacted China of Asian directly and said, hey, I need to know the postal code and shipping address of where the products are going to be shipped from, and they'll be happy to provide that to you because you're selling their product. So you're an agent of them as a supplier. So I'm going to go right click and paste in here. So my postal zip code 518000. The city is Shenzhen, China. So I'm going to copy that here. And I'm going to place that in the city box. Now there's a street address. Now if I want to, I could put in the street address. It's not a required field because there's no red star next to it like these here. But I could put that in there just for my personal information. And then it says shipping method. And there's many different shipping methods that are offered. And we can pick what particular shipping method we want to offer. Generally, it's based upon what is offered by the supplier. I'm using a drop shipper, so the drop shipper will tell me, oh, I use this supplier, or I use that shipping method. We can use USPS, which is United States Postal Service. We can select Federal Express. We can select UPS. And we can also select table rate, which is where we identify a table based upon a certain dollar value, or flat rate. So in this case, I'm going to choose FedEx, and I'm going to do FedEx Ground, which is a standard option for most types of things. So I choose FedEx Ground, and then I go down here, and I click a Save Item. Wait for the item to save, and now you can see that under the Warehouse Manager tab, it says Warehouse Manager. When we first came in here, there were no warehouses. So it shows warehouse number 1 is China of Asia. Now, I could add another one. If I want to add another one, another supplier, I click on this Add Warehouse tab, and then I could add another one in Canada. Let's say John's MP3 players located in Canada, or I could put a U.S. supplier located in Baltimore, Maryland. Either way, the purpose of the Warehouse Manager is for us to tell Magento that we have suppliers or negotiated with multiple suppliers in multiple countries, and here they are. We give them the name of the supplier, the country, and the postal code where it's located, and then we give Magento the ability at the time when our buyer is selecting our item for sale, we give the people the ability to be able to go in and identify that particular product, and then Magento will look at where it is located and where the buyer is located and will calculate shipping. Now, the last step that we have to do after we've added into our Warehouse Manager as many different product suppliers as we want, and again, if you negotiate later on, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 months from now, you find a different product from a different supplier you want to add to your web store, you simply go back in here under System and Manage Shipping Warehouses, and you add another supplier, and then you can tell Magento to begin using that supplier. So the last step we have to do is actually go into the product catalog to tell Magento that a specific product is coming from the China of Asian warehouse. So let's take a look at that. If we go under Catalog and Manage Products, we're going to bring up the products that we have put into our system so far. Wait for the system to come up here. Here we are. And from our other video, you can see we had put in the King Viper DVD player. And this is a product that is from China of Asian. So I'm now going to go in here. I click Edit over here so I can edit this particular product. We wait for the edit screen to come up, and here's this particular product, and in this particular product we all go all the way down to the bottom, and you'll notice under warehouse here At the very bottom it says warehouse, and we select Chinavision. So if we begin to add products, if there's only one warehouse, it will automatically select the only one warehouse that's available. However, as we begin to add new products and different suppliers, then we'll be able to go into each particular product that we add and be able to go down here to warehouse and identify what that particular warehouse is or where it's shipping from.